Okay, let's finish this thing quickly. So, I can't believe this has actually taken this many videos just to do this thing. It's getting fun. It's fun now. Alright, so we're doing the trailer for this thing. We've done the car, and we've done the other car. This is like the Land Rover. If you've just tuned in and trying to figure what on earth this is all about, I got a new subscriber today, so that's quite nice. Up to 6 technically. Woo. Which is nice. I shouldn't say that. It makes it sound like there's not many people watching this, but that's there aren't many people watching this. But you might. I still didn't find the bits that go on the inside of this. I promised. I made a promise, and I didn't go through with it. I don't know where the little bits on the inside. Well, that's a shame. Well, that's not going to happen then, is it? But that's okay. We only need the little tiny wheels, and we're doing for the trailer, so we'll just have to finish off. With the trailer. So you can see that this set's actually quite good value when you think about it, because I've gone through many steps. This has been a long journey to get to the last bit of this. So there's many different parts of the, like I feel like it's a story, and there's many, what's the term? Like there's an arc going on here, but I don't, like there's waypoints along the plot path. So we had to go through this, and that was one journey, and then there was this part of the journey that was quite exciting, and then there was this part, and now we're on to the final bit. So things are coming together. We've just had the epic scene, the epic battle scene, where we almost thought we weren't going to make it, but we did, even though we didn't have the wheels. We lost a few people on the way, or wheels, and now we're sort of doing like the extended. Multiple endings of Lord of the Rings, or other such films. What are we up to now? We've done this. We haven't done this. I completely did this wrong. So we're going to put this here. I feel like the camera's a little bit funny. The lights. I think the white balance is going to be off because I've got the blue here. I don't really care. Everything looks a really odd color on this channel. And that's just the way it is. It actually looks kind of orangey where I am. So the times when I look at it and it looks kind of more presentable and the whites seem correct, that's actually incorrect. It really is orangey. So it's got the warm incandescent glow, which I like for this desk. And it goes with the brown. It's like, oh no, there's a mark on my desk. I'm trying very hard to keep this desk from getting multiple marks on it, which is what I always do. You should see the other discs. This is, fake veneer wood, but it does get scratched and scuffed rather easily. Well, it does with me, and so I'm determined to try and keep this desk not a horrible mess. Even though I cover it up most of the times for these videos, it is still pretty well nice underneath, apart from the odd bits and pieces. And me drawing little marks on the table, which I've just realised I've completely ignored, which is supposed to... Oh! I've dropped the thing on the thing. No! There's a little mark on the corner here, which is where I put this. And then I changed my mind because I moved the camera every single time, so there's no point to having a mark on the desk. Unless I figured out how to actually make the camera more rigid, because it's a little bit wobbly at the moment. If you knock it, it does strange things. Wails and moans. I think it might be possessed. I don't know. That didn't work, that joke. Okay. Where is these pieces? They're right here. How could I have lost the wheels? The insides of the wheels. I don't get that. That just doesn't make sense. I could go back and look at the video where I first opened the box. That's the nice thing about videoing everything, is that, maybe they just weren't in the box in the first place. Because, that's a possibility. Oh dear. I got a bad feeling about this. Oh no, I haven't. I've got a good feeling about this, because I thought this piece here was not in fact in here, because I've used them all up, but it's right there. That's the only thing for step number 7. Step number 7 was a breeze. I'm going to remember that step, because it just went so well. It was on the nose, perfect, not a hassle. I wish all steps, and well, it wasn't really a hassle, was it? It was a hassle because they complained about that piece. So that's not a very good thing to say. On balance, in hindsight, it was a breeze, but at the time there was a few moments of suspense. Unlike number 8, which was a good, there was lots of things to do, which I haven't finished doing yet, but they all went pretty well. There wasn't any hiccups. Okay, and what are we doing now? We're going to put this one here. So we're going to take a break from Lego for a few days, because I've got tons of interesting little things to do that aren't Lego, and so we're going to do those. We're going to do some of them. Some of them are quite cool. Some of them are a bit like Lego, and some of them aren't quite like Lego, so there will be a variety. And I want to do a little sewing thing. I want to make another little pillow or something, or I've got like a donut somewhere that I was going to do. That's right, a donut. And a donkey. A donkey which is of the similar type to other ones I have had before. So we're now doing step number 10, which will be fun. Today, so this is Rabbit Colony that I like. Looks like I've done this wrong, haven't I? I have. This is in fact a longer one. A rabbit colony that lives right next to a mall, and one of the largest malls in... No, it is going to be the largest mall in New Zealand, or is it not? I can't remember, no. But it is a mall of substantial size, right next to a motorway on-ramp, and there are many rabbits around. But they're not that many, but there's obviously a bunch of new ones, not too many, but 5. And they're very small. One of them actually got run over. The first time they do cross the road. They cross the very, 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 very busy road and don't always succeed in getting to the very small piece of grass on the other side of the very busy road. But one of them, because obviously some of the bunnies are in fact the offspring of captive bunnies, tame domesticated bunnies, and not pure wild ones. They're very interesting, sort of browny. They look like the top of I don't know what you call them in other countries. A flat white coffee with a coffee with frothy milk on the top. They look like, with a bit of cinnamon sprinkling in there. That's what they look like. That's the sort of color. That's what that reminds me of. And so I think there were 3 grey boring, not boring, but let's think of them boring. Well, they're just a standard wild rabbit, and then there are 2 of these coffee-coloured ones. And one of the coffee-coloured ones, well, I was cycling past them, and they were near the footpath, and 4 of them ran away, and one of them just sort of sat there and looked at me and just sort of decided to go about doing what it was doing. And I thought, well, you're an interesting little rabbit. You seem a little bit. So I was just wondering, like, if the tameness is genetic, in some degree, and so the rabbits that you buy or you obtain from that are domesticated rabbits are in fact quite different in their temperament than standard wild rabbits, and sort of have a propensity for not completely mistrusting humans. Because I thought that was a bit odd, because they were very, very close, and I thought, well, if I had some rabbit food on them, I could probably persuade them to get quite close to me, which is not what I was expecting, because that's not their behaviour that I've ever seen before. But having said that, they do live next to a motorway and many, many cars going past. They're probably not that fussed about people as they go, which I think is a very bad idea, because sooner or later someone's going to start saying, "Oh, there's all these rabbits, and we should eradicate them for no reason, because they're not really doing anything." But someone will say that. This is my actual thing. It's like, well, these rabbits, they live in a spot where they can't really get anywhere, and they can't really take over anything, and they're not really damaging any potentially troublesome areas. They just live on these little tiny urban islands of greenery, and otherwise can't escape because there's nowhere to go, and they're limited, and they seem to not, their population hasn't exploded as such. Because there were quite a few at the beginning of winter, and then half of them died off, apparently, from what I can see. And so they sort of maintained a limited population. But now they're becoming a little bit, they're moved a bit, and so I'm a bit worried people will actually notice that they're there and be like, oh, there's all these bunnies that are there. But I did in fact find, I think I mentioned this, I did in fact find an abandoned rabbit there, an abandoned pet rabbit that I managed in the end, thanks to a friend, to find a new home for them, which was good because they were going to have little baby bunnies and they were very, very due, and 3 days was enough for me because I had to keep them in my bathroom and they were getting kind of problematic. And it's exactly the perfect place that if you were going to abandon your rabbit that you no longer wanted, this is exactly the spot that you would do it at. So it's not surprising, and it's not surprising that there's been another rabbit abandoned there and has lived on by having many little baby rabbits over the years. Because there are adults of that colour, and I'm pretty sure they are not the original. But it's interesting that the little baby ones are pretty much exactly the same as the adult ones. But like they're not mixed up. They're not like, they're the coffee coloured ones or they're the grey standard ones. But there's not like a mixture of grey and coffee coloured ones, or there's not one that's like halfway between. It's just that's what they both are. There's two sets. That seems to be the way it is. But I think it would require a closer examination. But anyway, let's just talk about this for a bit. So we're almost there. So it's been quite fun. Like it's definitely an interesting, because it's sort of like just suddenly turned into what it's supposed to, and it's got the nice little smooth bits here, which is going to be cool when we get to drive the cars in. So you can kind of guess how it's going to go. I don't think there's anything else to do except put. But where does this piece go? Oh, it goes there. Right. It's the last step. Right. I was very, very jumping the gun there. Oops, and I've done it. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! 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 I've done it wrong. Thankfully, we can use a drill bit, which is exactly the wrong piece. Push that out. And put. What was I drilling recently? Oh, that's right. I was drilling this thing. So this is my my tool for avoiding RSI by avoiding the use of mouse wheels. So this thing here is, when you press it up and down, is going to function like a mouse wheel. And when you press in the middle, it functions like the middle button. And hopefully when you press to the left and right, you can also, and things that support it, do mouse wheel actions to the left and the right. So that's what it's going to look like. So the idea is you have your mouse in one hand and you have this on the other side of the keyboard, and then you can use your other hand to do the things that the mouse wheel does, but you don't have to do it with this hand. And I don't like the mouse wheel thing, because I think using your hand like this is using your finger in that sort of small movement thing. That's just the worst. And so that's my plan, because I like the mouse wheel functionality. Who doesn't? Like, it's useful. It's like the best thing in the world. But it's just that the way that you do it is a horrible way. And it'd be nice, like, if you had that on the side of the actual keyboard, like a little tiny joystick on the side of the keyboard that you could use your thumb on, or another finger that you could just reach over while you were using the mouse. That's what I feel. So I'm gonna get that to work pretty soon, I hope, and see if it actually is an enjoyable thing, and then say, hey, look, somebody build this as an actual real thing instead of just my dodgy prototype. It won't be me, but hopefully some manufacturer somewhere who likes to just not make knockoff things, not going to name names, picks it up and just makes it without having to worry about patents and stuff and all that kind of thing. Maybe it'll be rubbish. I like, oh, this is what this is for. This is actually holds the wheels in place. So, driving the cars up the side. It was 16 minutes of me not really talking too much about Lego. Driving up there. Ooh, we go. And there we go. Look at that. So that's actually quite good. That's quite good. You can't really get a sight on pro. At least you can. They're sitting there. I always like trucks that carry cars around. It's a sort of fascinating thing. It's a shame we don't have all the wheels. Though the one thing that I absolutely love about trucks, and of course the actual I've forgotten the name of this, like a some interesting ways of getting the wheels to turn. I forgot the interesting way that I was thinking of, but the thing that I love about trucks like this size is that they usually have, well, they sometimes have 4 sets of wheels at the front that all turn, and they all turn in a different way. So if you watch them turning, the wheels turn at a slightly different angle as they go, because they're trying to make the proper circle sort of things, and it just looks fascinating. And I'm like, well, that's just a nice sort of piece of engineering. So I always get this little short bit of thrill about seeing trucks turn when they have 2 sets of front turning wheels instead of just the one. So it's a shame that these ones are actually over here, because I feel like it'd be cool if they were at the front, because they do look neat. But anyway, thanks for watching this video, and like, share and subscribe and all that, and bye.